day.
I'll take it.
I'm taking it.
Okay, Lee, we'll give everybody another 15 seconds or so. It's already a minute or two after 11. Let's just give them just another few seconds here.
Alrighty.
Yeah, more.
I'm gonna just mute.
Morning, Janet.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute everybody.
All right, go ahead and start the recording. We'll get. If
Muted. Line unmuted.
you want to start recording, we'll go ahead and get started here too.
Alrighty.
Conference recording started.
Good morning, everybody. It is June 12th, 2017. I am Matt McCray with Chelsea Insurance Group. I'd like to welcome everybody to the call or to the video if you're watching us online. We're on Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube live streaming our calls now weekly. Just wanted to start off today with a few quick announcements, and then we'll get into the good part of the call. Just want to touch base on a couple things. Make sure you guys are all checking your emails. We send out a lot of very important emails, each week, just announcing different things that are going on. So make sure you're checking your emails. Another thing, inside of your lead distribution and your sales tracking system, the NAC system, you do have the capability of adding your picture in there. And then we run some leaderboard reports and stuff, but we'll get a chance to see your picture and see who you guys are. That'd be great if you could upload your picture there.
Mark Gould.
Now, every week we've been focusing on the average annual premium of the policies that we're selling. So I just want to give an update. This month so far, our average annualized premium is $857.24, which comes down to $71.44 per month. And if we look at it for the year, we're a little bit low this month. For the year, we're at $861.45 or $71.79. So that means every time, or the average sale that all combined with all of our agents that we're making, they're typically around $71 per month, $72 per month for an $860 in an annualized premium. If that's not where you're at, I suggest taking a look at some of the things that you're doing so you can increase that and get your sales higher. You want to be at least what the average is. Just a real quick short. I received an email this morning from one of our agents. I won't say any names or anything, but this agent came to us a while back, and he was doing a lot of door knocking and just grassroots marketing, just talking to people that he knew, and he's been steadily writing business with us consistently on a weekly basis. But he moved over and he switched over and he started getting direct mail leads. And he sent an email this morning, said, first week using the direct mail leads, I did over $6,200 in premium last week. My goal was $5,000 for the week. So he blew his goal away by utilizing the programs that we're bringing and putting in front of you guys. These direct mail leads and the telemarketing leads are a great way for you to get in front of people. You've got to get on a consistent ordering process where you're getting leads in your hand on a daily basis. I mean, last week, one of our agents alone, his goal was $5,000. He went out and did $6,200 in premium, just working the direct mail leads. So, great job to that agent. I'd like to see more and more agents doing that on a weekly basis. I mean, I smiled so big when I got that email. And I'm going to call him later today and tell him what a great job. So last week's call, we talked about making more sales by selling and not just being an order taker. And we gave you some ideas, talking about sharing the good news, selling products, don't sell the product, provide solutions to people's problems. And this week I wanted to go through some very common objections. What are, so there's actually a process that you can use as an agent to help you when you're in the house or when you're on the telephone setting appointments or you're in the house closing deals. There's a process that you can follow that's going to be able to be used in any situation. And I'll get into that in just a minute. I want to prelude this by saying if you're following our sales presentation booklet, that's designed to take a lot of the objections out of place. So if you're using that, you're using good body language and showing some enthusiasm when you're in the homes presenting the final expense policy, you're going to eliminate a lot of the objections. And that should be your goal, to eliminate the objections as much as possible during your presentation. But we all know, no matter how much you do that, you're still going to get the people that are going to have some objections. So how do you properly handle? How do you handle those objections is what we want to talk about today. So, in the emails that I sent out last week and this morning, introducing talking about this week's conference call, in email and what we're talking about, I had asked, if you had any common objections that you're seeing a lot while you're in the house and you want me to show you how I would handle those on the call, to go ahead and email me. And I had quite a few emails come in from the agents, and thank you. It seemed like there was a common thread. A lot of the agents are getting some of the same exact objections in the home. So I chose two, and I'm going to go through those with us, go through those with everybody today on the call. But the process that I was talking about, I call it the V.I.C.K. It's V.I.C.K, V.I.C. So the V stands for verify. It's very important anytime that you get an objection, you want to verify what the objection is. You have to get a good understanding of exactly what the objection is before you can handle that objection. So we're going to verify the objection. Our next step is isolate it. We're going to make sure that that's the only objection that they have. We're going to isolate it. Our next step in the V.I.C. process is cushion. We're going to cushion it, and we're going to make that objection very normal. We're going to make it like it's not such a big deal. A lot of people have felt the exact same way that you do. And then the final step is KISS. Keep it simple. So for the K, so it's V.I.C.K, V-I-C-K, verify, isolate, cushion, and keep it simple. If you guys can do that with every time that you get an objection, no matter what the objection is, and if you play with this and you practice your objections, watch the training videos, and just go over and over and over. That way, when you get the objections in the home, it won't seem like, you'll know how to handle it. The best way to know how to handle it is by preparing for it, practicing, and being ready when those objections come, because they will come. Fewer will come if you're following the presentation, you're showing enthusiasm, and you're using good body language while you're in the home. You'll get fewer objections, but they're still going to come. So you want to V.I.C them. Verify, isolate, cushion, and keep it simple. So let's just go ahead and get into a couple of the objections that were emailed to me over the weekend. Which one do we want to start with? Let's go with I have to speak with my son or daughter first. This was probably the one that I got the most emails about. And the second one was, I'll go ahead and announce that one too. The second one that I got the most about was, I have to think about it. So let's just take these one at a time. So on the first one, I have to speak with my son or daughter first. So what are we going to do? We're going to verify that what they're saying. Okay, so and what we'll say is basically this. So the reason that you're not moving forward with this today is because you want to speak with your, let's say, your daughter first. And get them to respond and have them answer. So the reason that you're not moving forward is you want to speak with your daughter about this first. Once they say yes, you've verified it. Now let's isolate it. Let's make sure that that's the only objection. And you'll do that so this is the only reason that you don't want to move forward is because you want to speak with your daughter about this first. Get them to answer. And when they do answer and they say that that's the only reason, don't believe them. Because many times during objections, there's other underlying reasons that they're not going to buy. So you want to isolate it. Make sure that and you can ask things like, okay, so you like the company that we're talking about, whether it's Mutual of Omaha or Transamerica or whoever you're talking about. You like the company and the company's fine. Make them say, have them say yes. The pricing, the price that we laid out here and quoted for you, that's fine. Yes, the price is fine. What about me? Do you would you like to have me as your agent? Yes, I like you. You seem to be a great person. I'm happy with you. So the only reason that you don't want to move forward is because you want to speak to your daughter first. Yes. So now we have gone through the first two phases, the verify and the isolate. So now we're going to get into the part where we cushion that. And we're going to cushion it. We're going to say, many of my clients felt the same way. Let me share with you how some of them, how I've seen some of this go through, what's happened to some of them. Now, and then I'll say, Mrs. Jones or whatever, every time someone dies, there's a big mess to deal with. Now, will this be your daughter that's going to be there to clean up the mess? And once she says yes, it's my daughter. Okay, so let me figure this out. When she is going through the toughest time of her life and mourning, she now is going to have to stop and figure out how to pay for the funeral and what to do with your body. Now, Mrs. And I just sit there and I let her think. I let the prospect think about that, because they don't always necessarily know what's going to happen. So if Mrs. Jones is going to put her daughter into that situation, let's be blunt about it. Let's tell her that's what's going to happen. So Mrs. Jones, let me ask you a question. Do you have a good daughter? You know what she's going to say, of course. Of course you do. And I'm going to say, because if you call her, then what's she going to say? If you call her and say, hey, there's this final expense policy I'm thinking about getting, a life insurance plan, your daughter is typically going to say, no, Mom, or no, Dad, don't worry about that. We'll make sure we'll make sure everything's taken care of. You don't need to worry about that. This happens, so many times that the children just say, we'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And this is what you're explaining to Mrs. Jones. Now, and the daughter's going to say, no, let's talk about something else. Mom, we're on the phone, or we're sitting here having a cookout or a picnic or whatever. Let's talk about something else. I don't want to talk about this. So the subject gets dropped. You don't talk about it with your daughter. You don't move forward and sign up with the insurance. Then one day, in the future, at some point, Mrs. Jones, you pass away. Now your daughter is stuck in that position. She's going through the mourning. She has to figure out what she's going to do with your body. And now she has to figure out how she's going to pay for it. So we're kind of, along this whole process, we've painted a picture. We've let her know that other people have felt the same way. And now we need to let her know, Mrs. Jones, or Barb if you're calling her by her first name, this is really up to you to take care of for her. This isn't your daughter's responsibility to tell you whether or not you're going to need this insurance plan or not. This is your responsibility to take care of so your daughter doesn't have to be put into the situation where she's going through the toughest time of her life. She's mourning, and now she has to figure out how to pay for your funeral. Barb, let me make a suggestion. And when you say that, don't ask her if you can make a suggestion. Just say, Barb or Mrs. Jones, let me make a suggestion. I showed you 3 plans here. Let's just go with the smallest of the 3. That one I believe will be enough to take care of your funeral. It'll take care, won't take care of all your final expenses, but it'll at least take care of your funeral. So your daughter, and by the way, you should always have the daughter's name. I'm saying daughter on the call, but you should, if the daughter's name is Betty, then you should say Betty, or if it's the son that's taking care of it, use the son's first name. So you always want to get the children's names, who it's going to affect, make it personal to them. But Barb, let me make a suggestion. Let's at least go with the smallest plan here. Let's get that started, and then at least you have something that's going to take care of your funeral, and your daughter is not going to be left in the situation where she has to figure out how she's going to pay for it. Let's at least start with that one. Then, down the road, if you ever decide that you want to increase it and get more, I'm a phone call away. Just call me up, and we'll come back and we'll get you the additional coverage that you found out that you wanted to have. But today, let's go ahead and get started with the smallest plan. I'll just need to see your driver's license, and then when you say that, pull the application out, put it down, and act like you're gonna and just start filling out the application. In the corner of your eye, you're gonna see her, 50 or 60% of the time, she's gonna actually just get up from the table. You made a great suggestion to her. I mean, what a great suggestion. You suggested that she goes in with the small plan. So, a lot of times they're going to go ahead and take that suggestion. Just start filling out the application in the corner of your eye. You're going to see her get up from the table, and she's going to walk away to go get her driver's license, and you've got your sale. So that's how I handle I have to talk to my daughter or my son about it first. That's how I handle that. Does it work every time? No. But it works. It works a lot better than just saying, okay, talk to him, and I'll call you back in a week and we'll discuss it again then. It's gonna work 50 to 60, 70% of the time. They're gonna say, okay, I'll go ahead and take the smallest one now and let's get that started. So the other objection that I wanted to run through was, I have to think about it. And now what you're gonna say here is, that's perfectly fine and normal, Mrs. Jones. A lot of my clients have felt the same way. But let's do this. I've got 3 of the 3 options here laid out for you. Out of the 3, I'm sure that there's one that you don't want. We can just write that one off right now. Which one do you not like? She's going to tell you, well, I don't like this one. Doesn't matter which one of the 3 she doesn't like, you're going to follow up with this. When she points that out, just cross it off. Put a big X on it on the quote sheet. Put a big X over it. And say, what don't you like about that one? Let her tell you that it's either too much, or it's too much coverage, or it's not enough coverage, or whatever it is. Let her tell you, or him tell you, the reason that they don't like the one that they're crossing off. Make sure they tell you. Because now you've got that one crossed off, big X on it. You know that they don't want that one. Don't need to think about that one anymore. Okay. And then once you've got that one and she said, or he said why they don't like it, then say, out of the next 2, what don't you like? And then sit back and listen. They're going to say, well, out of this one, I either, I don't necessarily like this one as part of this plan, or I don't like this. They're going to come up, they're going to say something. And once they've done that, you can put an X on that one and then say, okay, out of the last one here, we already know what they don't like, he or she doesn't like about the first two options that we X'd out. But out of these next two, out of the last option that's left, we're not going to ask what you don't like. We're going to ask what you do like. So Mrs. Jones, out of this last option here, what do you like about this option? Let her answer. She's going to tell you what she likes about it. Well, the premium seems to fit into my budget. The amount of the insurance seems like it's going to be the right amount, that it's going to bury me and take care of a few extra things that I need to have taken care of. Let her tell you. And once she's told you and shared with you what she likes about that one, this is very key, this point here. You have to keep very calm. Keep very calm and say, when do you want it? That's it. When do you want it? She's already decided which one she wants at this point. You've crossed them out. You've made it visual for her. She can see the two X's. You've got one plan left. There's nothing else to think about. She just told you what she likes about that plan. It makes sense. Ask her when she wants it. Let her know that you don't have to pay today. If you want this now, we could go ahead and apply for it today, and you don't have to pay until your next Social Security check comes in, or whatever. But cross the first two options off. Find out what she doesn't like. Let the last one be there. Find out what she does like about the third option. And then very calmly, when do you want it? Remember the V.I.C.K Verify, Isolate, Cushion. Keep it simple. Prepare yourself. Study. Practice these objections. I recommend you write down all the objections that you can come up with and write down how you're going to handle each one of those. Follow the V.I.C method. Just gave you 2 to start. If you have more objections, or if you can't think of them all while you're out in the field, and the next time you get an objection, just remember the V.I.C. It's very easy. You should be, if once you get good at this, you can start making it part of your sales process, and you can just flow with it. I mean, if somebody were to call me right now and give me an objection, I'm going to verify that that's what their real objection is. I'm going to isolate it and make sure that there's no other problem. I'm going to cushion it. I'm going to say a lot of people have felt the same way. Let me show you what we found. And then I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to ask them to buy again. Those are the steps that I follow, and that help tremendously. I'd like to open the call up to Alan and see if Alan has anything to add. We're coming up. It's about 11:25, it looks like, so we've got a couple more minutes, or if we're good. Alan?
Hey, Matt, great job. And I have to agree with you that about the presentation. You can eliminate objections by doing a great presentation. And we have a binder for that. If anybody wants a binder, you can order binders, and that'll eliminate a lot of the objections later in the presentation. So I agree with that, and I learned when I first got into sales that an objection is nothing more than a request for more information. It's not a no. They just want to know more. And again, going back to the presentation tells them everything. So, Matt, you did a great job. Those are the 2 top objections, and I think that if everybody on this call uses those rebuttals to those objections, sales will increase. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's it for the call today. Thank you. Thank everybody for being on the call, and we look forward to seeing you again next week, Monday, 11 o'clock. same number, same live stream places. We'll be here. Let's make it a great week. Thanks.